Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts is dedicated to preparing aspiring professionals in the areas of culinary arts, patisserie and baking, and hospitality and restaurant management.
Disaster Planning and Response Art Rescue is a first responder for the world of art, providing planning, packing, evacuation, conservation, and storage for all your treasured possessions.
Thanks for joining me on Fear No Art. My name is Elysabeth Alfano. Come with me as I go behind the scenes and we get into the hearts and minds and souls of the creative genius. What do a bunch of abandoned buildings on the south side of Chicago have to do with making art? Artist Theaster Gates is rehabbing one building at a time, bringing in artist residencies and making sculpture from the gutted materials. I speak with Theaster to get a feel for this man's grand plan. Theaster, thank you for having me in your studio. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
You know, the most impactful thing for me about your work is the power of a single idea. Several years ago, museums and galleries weren't that interested in your work, and you had conviction that you were going to follow through on your ideas.
Sure.
And that from that you bought your house and you rehabbed it and you made the sculpture with the gutted materials. Do you see yourself as a catalyst?
I'm just looking for the opportunities to do these things that I really believe in.
Yes.
Renovating the house was something that I would have done with no expectation of it being a catalyzing moment. Renovating the building next door was something that I would have done because the building was abandoned next to me. And so it's been an accumulation of projects that are really focused, that are rooted in my belief that ordinary places should be special.
When I look at your background, it's so diverse. So you have a degree in urban planning, you have a degree in ceramics, and you have a degree in religious studies.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, what is art for you? Because the way you approach it is so different.
In some ways, religious studies, clay, urban planning, that they all seem to root in notions of transformation. That in the material world, if you heat up clay enough, it shifts from being one thing to another. Its molecular structure changes as a result of fire. That in urban planning, I think that those processes are always attempting to create acts of transformation that are intentional acts that use, say, political systems and economies to make a place better, change a place, right?
Yes.
In religious studies, in religion, I think that the heart of men, the ways of people, are again these acts of transformation. It's belief and imagination, you know, and reimagining the possibility of things is something that, because I didn't have very much growing up, it was a kind of consistent act of taking a thing that had very little value and figuring out a way to make my day. I think a lot about how can I not create these separate compartments in my life, but use all of these things that I have interest in toward one really specific set of goals. And so I think that I'm just using whatever tools that I have at hand to fashion a life that I feel good about.
Is art a spiritual process for you? Because you have a religious background and there are some similarities. I
really do think that art is about people's belief in other people, and that the art world, big A, is actually not very different from other spiritual communities. There's intimate time spent thinking about the world and converting that, recreating the world into these new things or these new ideas. That process feels like a spiritual process for me. I'd like to credit just the kind of magic of craft and the study of how to build things, and both informally with my dad, kind of getting on a roof and my dad saying, you know, this is how these materials work and this is how they'll keep rain from someone's house, and be careful of those corners because they can be really tricky. That even in that learning of a trade, it felt like he was transferring a particular kind of care and intimacy. I do think that I carry my history with spirituality forward, and that it's probably a big part of how I understand belief. but it's also now belief that's motivated to, like I said, engage the world, that it's active belief that changes things, that transforms things.
You have to be a pretty positive person, I think, to sometimes see beauty where other people just walk by it every day and don't consider it. Do you think yourself a positive person?
Well, yeah, maybe positive, but also you have to see beauty.
Let's take a little walk here and then I'll let you go. I'll cut you loose, set you free.
Come on. You didn't trap me. We're good.